I want to thank you. I'm really thrilled to be here in Dallas at your new headquarters. Very impressive. And for those of you who can't see, it's a Dallas size space. It's quite large, very impressive, and just really great representation of health technologies. So take us back a bit and tell us a little bit about the beginnings.
Well, if we go back to the very beginning, it did start with video monitors, and then that business kind of went away. So then we had to change direction into a little bit of aerospace. Southern California was a big hub for aerospace activity. We wanted to find something that was more bread and butter and daily orders rather than this, peaks and valleys situation. And I had a friend that was in the financial markets and it was working with the NASDAQ back in, so we're talking about 1990 now. So I came up with the first multi-user interface, and that was our foray into the AV market, that product. So we started to make, little switchers, matrix switchers, video splitters, and pretty soon we found ourselves in this market called Pro AV market, and by mid 90s we were well into it. And Gail, you can
I
tell
started,
about when
yeah,
you joined.
I started helping out initially. It was supposed to be temporary in '95, and then it just continued so that we were pretty small then, so you do everything. And so yeah, from that point on, from '95 on, I started. Starts part time, and then you find yourself you're there all the time.
So tell me a little bit about how medical really became one of your biggest customers and where that is today.
So I was approached by a hospital that we were making switchers and extenders. And they said, well, we need something that does this kind of switching and this kind of extension. It was several hundred feet. I, I took the order and I developed that product. And that was our beginning foray into the medical market.
So actually, while we're talking about medical, talk a little bit about, if you would, where the medical business is today and what the offerings are.
With Ali and Gail had that in patient monitoring. We still extend that today. It's still evolving as it always does. The technology grows. We're building new rounds of that same product, extending what they've done it further into the future. And our customers are looking to do even more now. And now we're getting into medical monitors. They connect to our equipment, so that means they're guaranteed to work together. They're designed that way. And even beyond that now, continuing with patient monitoring, is things like medical cameras, allowing for telemedicine visits right within that medical room where they're being monitored. Perhaps that doctor or specialist can't come in there to see them, or maybe they're just in another location. Now, with the camera and the audio equipment right there beside the patient, the specialist can communicate directly with them and still be in kind of that patient monitoring channel. Post COVID, everyone's so used to team sessions and Zoom sessions, and it lends itself to telemedicine.
Mm.
And that feature set is pushing its way into the medical space now too.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk a little bit about the transition, Ken, if you would, and what Hall Technologies, kind of the path forward for Hall Technologies.
Mm-hmm. So, we've talked a little bit about education and corporate and healthcare in our path forward, and they're all part of what Hall does. Medical has been part of our past. It'll be part of our future. We're developing in that. But when you look at just more on the AV side of what this company does, education is a huge growing market. But now in the education space, and again, especially post COVID, you've got the more of a need not only communicate to the group that's in front of you, but maybe the group that's remote. We're now developing systems for these classrooms that seamlessly allow an instructor to talk to a local group and a remote group at the same time. And the same thing happens in the corporate environments where you've got huddle spaces, medium-sized conference rooms, large conference rooms, training venues, and again, people who travel or work from home. The ability to be able to link those entities, those together via communication, is more important than it's ever been. And so you'll continue to see the tools evolve to drive that way. Now, when I say tools, what do I mean? Is there something new that's coming out? Absolutely, there's always something new coming out. USB has been a big part of what we do in AV over the past couple of years. You and I did a really cool segment a year or two ago on USB and what that does. And back then we talked about USB 2.0 and how that was allowing us to connect to all these devices. And today we're talking about USB 3.x and what, the extra bandwidth we get out of that, and how we can use higher end cameras and things that utilize more bandwidth to now enhance those same workflows that we were looking at before. And wireless is huge too. We've been able to project wireless for a long time and be able to present that way. But now we're entering into an environment where the wireless is giving us two-way USB feedback. So walking with a tablet like you have, or a laptop, connect wirelessly to the system in the room and actually take advantage of the hardware that's in that room, like cameras, to have them wirelessly feed back to your tablet and allow you to be able to communicate in that room without ever even plugging in.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about, you were scheduled to retire. Did you officially retire? It seems like you're back.
Well, thanks to Ken, we're more involved in the business again. When we retired, we still held some interest in the business, and so we're on the board of directors, and so we've been attending the meetings. But since management change occurred, we've had a closer relationship with the day-to-day activities of what goes on here at Hall Technologies. So the change has been very, very positive, and we have an excellent relationship.
Yeah, I think since now with Ken taking over, it popped in my mind before we sat down. It's like, oh, it's a rebirth of what was Hall Research, now Hall Technologies, and so we're very excited about that and what Ken's doing with the company, and the new employees are all so dedicated. It's so good to see.
That's kind of what we're all about, and it's the joy of having Ali and Gail and having them here and using their knowledge and the legacy they built. I mean, 35 plus years of success right here. I don't expect to pick that up and run with that ball in a couple of months. There's a knowledge transfer. There's a mentorship that comes from both of them down to me and down to the rest of the company. And without that, you kind of hit a wall and you feel like you're starting over. This isn't a starting over. This is an extension, a continued evolution.
So in 2021, you had with Hall Technologies, you expanded into Europe and Asia, and you pulled back from that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, when you want to grow a business, it's easy to see what looks like a successful places that you can participate. And for us, maybe outside of the U.S., looked like there were some more growth opportunities. But challenges come with that too. So as Hall began to branch out, we began to realize it was pretty difficult actually to expand this way. So maybe the better solution for Hall is to really refocus on the core areas where we're really good and what's kind of more our backyard. So we really refocused the brand around North America again, and around some of the roots and the key product that Hall was built on. We haven't totally left any of the markets that we were in. We just kind of changed the business model to one that made more sense for the size of our company, that we could successfully manage and be able to provide our customers a good experience with.
Many people know that in 2018, Gun Lake Investments made a significant investment in the company. Talk a little bit about the importance, and they're not a typical investment company. So talk a little bit about that relationship and what that means to the overall business for Hall Technologies.
We were acquired by a private equity firm called Blackford Capital in 2018, and we stayed on for 2 years as CFO and CEO. But one of the investors in our business was Gun Lake, which is an Indian tribe. They have a casino on a lake called Gun Lake. Getting into the electronics on the West Coast was one of the first things that they did.
Investments in this,
in this space.
Yeah, in this space.
And then a couple of years later, they basically bought out the shares of everybody else that Blackford had brought to the table, and so it's just Gun Lake now and us.
They're expanding over there, and we're doing some work with them, and it makes a lot of sense. That's a good partnership between our two brands.
So can you tip your hat towards a little bit for your growth strategy?
The growth strategy for Hall is built upon a roadmap that allows us to not only produce a product, but to produce a family of products that can evolve and grow with our customers. Built on an engineering background, we like to have the ability to continue to invent and innovate as we go with the product. In the medical space, not only have we been in patient monitoring, but we're expanding beyond that now into medical monitors, into medical cameras, into medical carts. In the education vertical, which has been a great market for us, we're building room packages, particularly in the K through 12 or in the higher education space, where school systems want a simple, repeatable solution that's consistent from a consistent experience from room to room for every instructor each time they do. That's easy to support. So we're expanding that. And what we're really doing with education, this is a personal, difficult topic to even talk about, is what we're doing in the education space for the U.S. market, where we've unfortunately seen over the past few years tragedies that happen at schools, active shooter environments, or different things that are really kind of changing the landscape of the education space. We not only want to provide AV solutions for that, but we want to provide a way to help and to make that situation better. And so we're releasing a new product called Com Alert. That's C-O-M, Com for communication, alert, Com Alert. And it consists of a digital signal processor that processes audio signals in a room, whether there be a wireless microphone that someone wears or in-ceiling microphones, and takes that signal and gives you voice reinforcement in the room so that you can talk at a calm, great, easy communication level, and everyone in the room can evenly hear you. But at the same time, that DSP, that signal processor, mixes that audio and sends it digitally to your computer, which allows you to interface with that Team or Zooms or other soft codec. This is a big project, right? It's a lot of people on both ends that you've got to be able to mix and talk together smoothly. That's not easy to do, and Com Alert makes it easy to do. But in addition to that, Com Alert gives you a wearable microphone that has a safety reinforcement solution built into it. You've got a set of programmable buttons on there that you can press in a situation where you feel like you might need help or you might need to signal to reach out to somebody. So it's not just about providing an audio-visual solution, but it's about providing a safety communication solution to help make those environments what they're supposed to be, a safe place to learn. So if you have an existing security system, it can interface with that. If you've got an existing campus-wide digital signage system, it can integrate with that. If you've got an existing campus-wide communication solution like Atlas IED, for example, they're a complementary partner that we work with in the market. They make a campus-wide system. We make a wearable device. The two work together. So there are lots of times where you might have an existing infrastructure and you want to enhance that. Hall's a great way to go. We can absolutely do that.
So, if you had a message to integrators and end users about where Hall Technology philosophy, what would that be?
That's simple. A lot of people maybe have seen the brand for a long time, maybe moved away from the brand, or maybe they're new and coming back to it. The thing to know about Hall Technologies is we're built on custom solutions and reliability. So if you're looking for a standout brand that's unique, that maybe fits what you do in a sea of a lot of Me Too products, Hall's the place you want to go to. You'll find reliability, you'll find customization, and you'll find a product that will fit your need, differentiate you from the other solutions that are out there, and make you more valuable to your customer.
So Gail, Ali, and Ken, thanks so much. It's really been a pleasure being able to come down to Dallas, see your really amazing space, and chat with you in person. Congratulations again on 40 years.
Great,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.